Well, hello, everyone. I hope you are doing well and having a great, dry Tuesday. I am jumping in here today so that we can create with the Extraordinary Flora washi tape and put together the thank you workshop that many of you all received. This is just a preview of the cards that we're going to make today. I'm really excited about it. I hope that you guys are too. These come together really quickly, but I'm going to take probably a little bit longer today to kind of show you some of the techniques, some of the things that I do just to kind of make them pop. But what I love about this is all of these little designs, all of these flowers that you see here, these actually are from washi tape. Washi tape is back. We're used to getting like the small rolls, although this is a wider roll than some of the ones that are out there, which are so tiny. But I love to use washi tape. I think most of us do for a lot of different things to hold dies down, to just do a little accent for above a picture or a statement, something like that. But one of the things that I love about Stampin' Up is that they have released these washi tapes that are super versatile. And so they come in a roll just like this. And probably the hardest part about all of this is getting it to lay flat on a piece of cardstock, which really isn't hard either, but just something to kind of think about. But what I did in order to get all of these pieces out is I just take a piece of cardstock, I lay it out, and then I literally just unroll this across it. And I go kind of slow with my hand. I can also take like a ruler, kind of push it out to make sure I get a nice flat, even piece that goes all the way across. And that's what this Extraordinary Flora washi tape is. It looks just like this. And the cool part about this is you can see there's two sections of different tones and colors. So this can be used across the board, not just in one color palette, but in two color palettes. And they also work together really well. So this is the one that we're going to use today, but I did want to show you kind of how they work and some of the other ones that we have Stampin' Up! Carries and a new one coming out too. So like I said, this is the washi tape. What's really cool about it is it's not just washi tape, but you can also get a stamp set that will work with it so that it coordinates perfectly with this. And if you like to color, you could use markers to color with it. This was the first one that we came out with, and I loved how they did it. It was all one die, and literally it just is going to line up over your piece just like this. You're just going to probably take another piece of washi tape like this to hold it down. You're going to put it through your die cutting machine and you're going to get out all the little pieces just like this. So easy peasy, no fussy cutting, none of that. And then again, it just moves up here and you get to do it again. So great, super easy to be able to get lots of pieces all at once. And then this die can be used again with the stamp set if you use up all your washi tape, to be able to just stamp and then put in the colors that you want yourself. If they're different from this and you still have washi tape, but you have another color pattern that you want to use, that works great as well. So that's the Extraordinary Flora. That's the one that we're working with. But another one that we offer is this one here. This one, if you love all things like vines and leaves and all of that, this one works really well for that. That is called the Greenery Lane. And this one is a little bit different. Here's the stamp set and the dies that kind of come with it. As you can see, the dies are all separated. So what you can do is just line up the specific die that you want over this. And then, so you're going to do the same thing, lay it out here on your cardstock, and then take and line up each die for it. And as you can see, there's lots of little pieces here, lots of little flowers that you can kind of use, a lot of the backdrop. Really fun, easy to use. And these make great for when you're trying to create embellishment clusters for your cards or for your scrapbook layouts. A great way to do it. I mean, I don't think that we can ever have enough leaves because flowers are everywhere. We're always accenting, but even just titles and stuff, a lot of times we want to put some green leaves behind it, maybe no flowers. And that's a great way to do it. And again, they also have a coordinating stamp set. So if you run out of the washi tape, you still can use the dies by using the stamp set. So this is one I love and use a lot. And then here you go. This is going to be a little sneaky peek. Okay, so this is Summer Happiness. So I'm really excited about this one because this one is bold and beautiful, and I love all the little colors that come with it. So look at those fun designs. In fact, I haven't had a chance to play with it. It just came. And so let me open this up and then we'll lay out some of it. Now, obviously, you don't have to cut out the washi tape. You can use it as a background directly on a card. Just put it on cardstock just like you did on this one, and then cut it to the size and then put it straight on a card, or use it as a backdrop for a scrapbook layout. Same thing with this. This one that I have here, like you don't have to cut out the pieces. It's got lots of colors and fun, fun designs and stuff that could be used all the way around a layout. Let me see if I can. Here we go. So just like your standard washi tape, it's got a light stick on the back, but obviously is going to do really, really well to stick to your cardstock. And so you can see all the little fun designs that you got in there: the drinks, the flip flops, the camera, the sun, pineapples, cherries. And so if I lay this out again, look at the cherries specifically. You can see you got a set of probably pretty in pink um, cherries there, and then the strawberry slush there at the top. So a little bit different, but a lot of it is the same as it goes across. So your colors are going to be right there with it. So, and then I'm just going to roll this back up so we don't lose it. But again, you're going to see right here where you have all of the dies that are going to cut these out. And then you can also look if you, I don't want to waste any of it. I love using this. So I wanted to be careful as I did that back up. But you can also look and you can see in the dies, you've got the bottom part of the flip flops and then you've got the top. So you can change your colors. You can, so they're like what we might call a two-step die where you can lay it together. Same thing with your glasses. Here's another piece that would go potentially with those. And these I think can be used for that. So you've got a lot of different areas and pieces that you can use. It's not just for your washi tape, but you can definitely make it your own, which I totally love. So, and like I said, I haven't taken these out and even used them yet. Normally what I do, if it is a die set that coordinates specifically with a stamp set, and really, I don't want to say can't be used on its own, but if I don't have my washi tape, then I'm going to definitely want to use these two things together, right? Then I will put them together in the same kit, kind of like I did with the granary lane. So here's my granary lane. I've got my stamp set on one side, and then I've got my die cut on another. Now these could absolutely be used on their own. They wouldn't have to be with a stamp set, but because I do have all of that still that I'm using, I am keeping it together. So it's just super easy for me to grab, but it takes up a lot less room. I do love the new packaging, don't you? Just so fun. So that's the Greenery Lane. And then this is the Summer Happiness die. So I'm really, really, really excited about that. And I hope you are too. All right. So we're going to put all this aside and then we're going to talk about what we're going to do to make these cards. Now, when you got your kit, you should have all of the pieces that were basically pre-cut for you. And you got like a little packet of all of the flowers together. And if you follow me on my Facebook group site, you should have seen where I made a post and said, go ahead and separate them out. And this is how I separate out my colors when I'm working like this. So I just went to the dollar store. I got like a $2 ice cube container. But what I loved about it is it had a lid. So you can see I have a lid here. And there are so many different pieces to this one pack that it actually took more than all the slots I had. It is a smaller container. Instead of it having the 12, it has, well, 12 is what it normally has, right? So 3, 6, I guess it does have 12. It just looks a little bit smaller, but it does come with the lid. And so if I was to go to a crop or want to go work on this, out at the table while the family's sitting there all talking, I could easily just have this, put the lid on top of it, take it with me when I go, then I don't have to worry about losing the pieces. So I do love that about this. That was why I specifically got this one. But what I did was I literally just separated out all the colors, all the designs, and I put them together in each individual container, making it much easier when I go to create to be able to pull out the ones that I wanted. And then I had some of the smaller pieces just here. And these are the ones that I might put like little embellishments around or, stick here and there. So that worked out really, really well for me. So that's a great way to do it. If you have a little bit more than what you have a holder for, but again, to be able to contain it. And again, if I wanted to take this, I would probably just put all these together in one little spot and then separate them out later, but keeping it very, very easy. So that's what I highly recommend that you do if you have not already done it, is that you separate them out. It will make it much, much easier as you create these. All right, so let's go ahead and we are going to start with this card here. We're going to get our inkiness done first. and then we are going to continue to create for the other. So I'm going to clean up my workstation real quick, put this one out and grab my packet, and I hope you will do the same. So this is our Irresistibles paper, and I love it because you can definitely make it work for whatever project, whatever thing you want to do. It comes with its own little designs on it. And those of you who got a kit, many of you probably got different pieces or different background designs. I try to make sure that they would all match well and work well, and I think that they do. So if you don't have the exact same one I do, that's okay. But I went ahead and did these. And so what we're going to do for this one is I grabbed the Strawberry Slush ink and just a blending brush. Okay. And so I'm just going to, or not even a blending brush. Can't think of what this is called, but we're going to use this. I'm just going to pat it in the ink, put it off a little bit here, just so I don't get such a stark piece on here. And then I'm just going to, off of the side, kind of come in and then just kind of go over it. And you're going to see as I do that, that wherever the glossy part of this is, it's going to resist my ink. So this works really, really well. And I chose Strawberry Slush because that is the color that is on these flowers that we're going to match it with. And of course, it all is labeled on the label when I pick them up or when you purchase them. And so I keep a note of what colors are being used. That way, the beauty of the colors from Stampin' Up is they all match across the board. And I know that when I use Strawberry Slush ink pad with a Strawberry Slush paper, it's going to all work well. Okay, so I'm just coloring this in. You can do the exact same. You can go lighter, darker, however you want. You can see this one I did really, really, well, I don't want to say really, really dark, but pretty intense. And the more you go over it, the more intense it's going to be. So, but I'm just kind of bringing this in, picking up some off of my my glass and mat so that I don't waste it. I hate to waste anything and it's there, so why not, right? And I'm just kind of going off the edges because we are going to kind of see the edges. Now, when I cut all of our base pages like this, I cut them a little bit bigger because I wanted you, if you should desire, to be able to, let me do a couple things. Let me clean up my area first so that I don't make a mess and put my hand directly in it like I know that I would. All right, and then I'm going to take just a little rag and I'm going to wipe it over the top of my design, my paper, and it's going to take off any extra ink off of where that glossiness is. It's just going to rub it right off so I get more of a white popping through, and then it's definitely a bolder pop for the colors there. And I actually like this one better than this one because I'm going to be able to pull out the two-tone colors in my flowers, I think, better. It's going to match that in the background. All right. So, so this is a little bit larger. So our card base here that we have should be 4¼ by 5½, right? And so in order to get that little strip around there, we always bring it down just 1/4 inch. So it would be 4 by 5¼ But I made this one just slightly bigger than that because what I like to do, and if you have this, let me grab it real quick. The Texturing Notes die set. This may be something that you want to do as well, or if you've got the Perennial Postage. These are two that we've had recently. I believe that these are retired now, but Perennial Postage is still available. But I love to just put a little bit of extra design on the outside of my papers and make it just kind of, again, it fancies it up a little bit. It just kind of gives it this really cool detail. And so I'm going to do that real quick off of camera so that it doesn't shake the table too much and make a ton of noise. Let me see if I can't do that real quick. If you don't have one of these card front cutouts that's at the same as big as that, you can go ahead and just trim it down. Again, you're going to want to trim it down to 4 by 5¼ Let me turn this. And you are going to need your die cutting machine probably a little bit for what we're doing today. We've got, let me change this real quick, because we've got a couple areas that we're going to have to cut out some circles and some windows into our paper design. There we go. I had it on embossing and not on cutting. So I needed to change that real quick and change my plate numbers. So that you guys wouldn't have to wait on this part for me. I did all of my other papers, but I wanted to show you kind of what I did and how I did it, just so that you guys could get an idea of it and what it looked like. Now, if you're going to use these embossing or going to use the irresistible papers, you're going to want to, hold on one second, I got to put it through again. I think I had it kind of light, so let me put it through as a little bit darker or heavier. You're going to want to ink it first and then cut it out. That's going to be really important, because if you cut it first and then you go over and ink it, you're going to have more ink in the little notches than it makes around it. And you don't want it to have too much color there. One second. I need to get a new plate. This one's not cutting as well as I would like it to, because I think I've used it so much. My plate tends to adjust a little bit. There we go. Okay, so if you can see the little stitching design that I have all along the edges. And I love that look. It's very subtle, but it definitely stands out, and just pops it up a little bit more, in my opinion. So if you have something like that, you can absolutely do that. Same thing, if you use the Perennial postage, you would have that as well. That would kind of stand out a little bit for you. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to take one of our card bases of black. So just a black card base. Go ahead and grab your paper trimmer. You can do it without it, but I always feel better doing it with it, just because I know that I'm going to get a nice clean line. So I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer, move these out of the way, since I showed you what that was. Clean up my desk a little bit. All right. And then we're going to put this in, and we want to score it at 4 1/4. Because it should be, and you can always double check me, it should be 8.5 wide. So let's double check that. Yep, 8.5 wide is what I've got. So I'm going to put it in here, and I'm just going to score it at 4 1/4, and make sure that you grab your scoring tool, not your cutting blade, because I do that quite often. And then some of you may or may not know this, but where it has the indent, that is actually the side that should be folded in. I always thought it was the one that was folded out, but you can honestly do it either way. It depends, I guess, on who you ask, but however you prefer. And then I am just going to take my bone folder and make sure I have another good crease, just because I'm doing that as well. And then we're just going to adhere this on, just like we would on any other card. So I'm just going to do this. And you just want to center it in the space. Perfect. Okay, so just like that. Now, our title or our sentiment that we have here, I love being able to take the ephemera that we have and just be able to use those, especially if I have a base or I have black and white in there. We have a lot of ephemera that's just for sentiments. It's black and white. It works perfectly. But what I also thought about doing today was pulling in another new stamp set so that you guys can see it, that I've actually really fallen in love with. Let me see if I can find it. It's right here. It's called the Scalloped Blooms, and it does have a die set that coordinates with it. And look at this. I'm going to pull this out so you guys can see it. I love the scallops because you got so many different sizes of them, right? So this is a great set that you can use to be able to do like 2 sets and be able to do an outline. But it also comes with these pretty outline for tags, and you've got your leaves, different pieces here. So I think that there's a lot you can do with this. And so I did go ahead and pre-cut out some of these die cut pieces so that I could use them for my sentiments. And so I've got one of them here, right here. I'm going to use that. And then I'm going to use the coordinating stamp set. And so I'm going to stay with a happy birthday. I thought that that worked really well. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull this out. And I've got a block here. Sorry about the noise. All right. So I've got my block, and I am just going to stamp it in black. And you can decide if you like, if you want to have the, like, if you use the same one, if you like it with the scallops up or if you like them down. I think I like mine down just for what it's going to do, but I did check it first. I would still recommend that you do the same, that your sentiment is going to fit within the opening if you do choose to use a die cut. So mine did, and that's again why I chose that one. Because this is a new stamp set, I'm just going to go ahead and rub it on my skin, kind of take off any of the extra shininess, I guess, that's on it from it being new. Let me put this off to the side. Just tap, tap, tap. Something to note when you're using these magnetic linen ink pads, you just tap, you don't have to press down hard, and then just line it up and ink it up and go. All right, there you go. So let me wash this off real quick. I'm just using my chamois, but I forgot to get my chamois wet before I got started. So I'm just spraying it with some water, and then that will work well. I'm going to take this up out of the way. All right, now just going to kind of get that ready. I'm not going to go ahead and put that down yet. I don't want to get too much of it down before I'm ready, but I need to kind of know the spacing of where it needs to be. And then we're going to go back to our paper kit. And so pull that out. And in there, you should have a square that was already cut out for you. So just like this. And these are using the stylish shapes. These are so awesome. I love these. I love, again, anything that's going to give me multiples of the same design, just like the scallops did, so that I can use different sizes. And then I can also create outlines and borders with them as well. So we're going to use these a lot today. I'm going to leave those there. So you're going to need your square. And then you're also going to need this big tag right here. It's a black tag. So pull that out of your set. So here's my black tag. All right. And I'm keeping all of mine in my bag. I apologize for the noise that it's making, but I want to make sure I don't lose any of my pieces. So for the tag, all I'm going to do is just fold it in half. Just like that. Again, taking my bone folder to it. Okay. And that is actually going to create this little holder for me to put my flowers in. Okay. So you can see just kind of how I did that. Let me move again some of my stuff out of the way. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the base. I'm just going to fold this in half, and you can kind of tell. Let me see if I can get a good look in this. There we go. You can kind of tell the raised edge versus kind of the one that is more of the background. So I'm just going to fold this down so that I have the nice edge on the outside. And again, I'm just folding in half. Feel free to get back out your scoring blade if that helps you to do it in your trimmer. And I'll just take this here. And so in theory, what we're doing to create this is we're just doing like a little window box, right? We're just going to kind of set that up just like this. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of get this settled. I want to make sure it comes up about 3/4 of an inch to an inch and centered inside my card. I'm going to go ahead and put adhesive down just like this, centered. Okay. And this one, because I'm going to manipulate it so much, I'm actually going to bring in my liquid adhesive. Nothing is really going to hurt it or do anything to it, but I just want to be able to have a little bit of liquid adhesive on this. And then I'm just going to put my liquid adhesive here for the back side. And then what you want to do is you want to have this as tight to the base of this as possible so that you don't see any kind of gap or line. So just like this. If you feel more comfortable having it go on top of it, you could have it go on top of your fold, but I think it's going to be just fine. You just want to make sure it is stuck right up to it, centered. And again, the other thing about the liquid adhesive too is if you need to move it, it gives you a little bit of grace to be able to move it and get it centered like you want it to. So there you go. We're doing that. Now here's where you're going to need a bunch of our washi tape, but you're also going to need some foam tape. And one of the ideas for the foam tape on this is to use those the real little strips. Let me grab mine real quick. So they look just like that. I'm trying to see if I have the wrapper so you can see what it looks like. I don't think that I do, but I've got a few more of them too. These are going to work really well because what I'm going to do with these is kind of just um, be able to kind of give myself different layers. If you look here, that's what makes this look so full is I've got all of these little layers kind of coming from there. So now that I've kind of got this stuck down, I'm going to open it up and I'm going to kind of play a trick on myself. I am going to put a little bit of adhesive on the inside. Liquid adhesive again, that's going to give me some wiggle room, right? I'm going to bring in these flowers. And the ones I'm using right now are our little rosebuds. Okay, so we're just going to take these out. I'm going to put them all out. Now, some of the flowers, and I can't remember on these if they do or not, but some of them are a little bit smaller than others. I think these are all the same. I separated these out a while ago. So yeah, all of these look like these are the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of lay these out so that I can get a good design. Feel free so that they don't all look like they're at the exact same height and all of that to kind of turn them. See how I've got this one turned? Okay, I'm going to turn it. You can also cut them a little bit more in half so that they're a little bit lower. So I've got one here. I don't know if you guys can see it. I've got one on this side that I turned a little bit more, whoops, a little bit more to the left. And the one on this side, I turned a little bit more to the right. Okay, so I have to be careful how I do it so that it will stick to my adhesive that I put there. Then I'm going to bring in another one, but this time I want to bring in scissors and I'm just going to cut off the bottom of this. So this one's going to be a little bit shorter. And again, it's going to give me more definition so that they don't all look exactly the same. Okay, so bringing that in, holding it in place just for a minute so that it has a chance, because the washi tape is a little bit more, I need a little bit of more adhesive on this too. Because the washi tape is a little more slick and not a flat, it is able for it to move a little bit and might take it a little bit longer to dry than you would typically feel with a standard cardstock because it's not going to absorb it. It's going to kind of sit on the top, but it will dry. So then I'm going to take another one. I'm going to do the same thing, just at a different spot. And then same thing. I don't have to push it all the way to the bottom, but I can if I want. Same thing here. I'm going to twist this and have it just go. And I want them to kind of, what we're really going for is that it's going to fill that area, right? All right, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my strips. I'm going to open this back up. I've got them all basically where I want them. I'm going to be careful not to move them. And I'm going to lay my sticky strip down on top of them. That's going to help them stay in their area. And then it's also going to give me something for the next pieces to hold on to. Okay, so there we go. Just like that. You can kind of see where all of those pieces I had already put in are still there. They're still in there from the adhesive that I had. And then now from the sticky thick foam that I had behind it. So now that I've got that in place where I want it to, I'm going to go ahead and take off the backing. Okay. And then I keep trying to lift that bottom one. We are going to do something with the bottom one, but I wanted to get this part done first. Okay. Make sure that it doesn't open up and then move and then stick to the back. That's the only thing you're going to have to be careful about if it's not completely dry, which obviously mine is not because it keeps trying to pick up. All right, now I'm going to take more of these in and it's going to allow me to kind of raise them. Whoop. See, there we go. Be careful. If I had used a liquid adhesive, it would obviously stay in there better, but it doesn't give me that wiggle room if I need to adjust anything. So that's the only thing to kind of consider while you're doing that. I'm going to kind of move this over. I don't have to have them all side by side. I'm just trying to fill the spaces. Okay, so I'm coming in with this one Same thing. And then over here, I'm just trying, if there's any empty spots, I'm just trying to fill those in. I hope that you can see that. All right. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is get this out of the way before it continues to make a mess on my desk and sticks to everything. Okay. Now I'm going to take some just tape adhesive and I'm going to open this up all the way. And I'm just going to put tape adhesive at the very, very top of the back side of that frame. And now what I want to do is I'm actually going to bring in some of these leaves that look like this, right? Because when do you ever see flowers that don't have leaves? So I'm going to bring some of these in. And these are going to be some of our background. So I'm just going to, again, kind of stick these in where I think I'm going to try and flatten it a little bit, but without pushing it down all the way because I don't want to lose that grip. All right, and we're going to do the same thing, just kind of put them here. Now on these, you do have some that are a little bit smaller than others. Let me show you there. So see how this one's bigger than this one? And that there, you've also got a little bit of a deeper color. So it's nice to kind of be able to put those in and kind of change out the colors and have them overlap and do all that. So I'm just kind of doing that. And you can see that mine is just trying to lay down. So I'm going to let it lay down. This is going to allow me to kind of stick it in where I want it to be, which is okay because I'm just trying to fill that space, right? And I think that looks good. So I'm going to now go ahead and close this and press down just like that. And you can see as soon as I press down, it's all sticking really, really well. I think I had one little flower thing pull out and it looks like it was from there. So let me just put a little bit of adhesive on the back. This one was a smaller piece, so it didn't get as low, but this will work really well just to kind of stick it in there. And see all of that design of how we can have it. Now, if you don't want somebody to be able to hold it and see that you've got a little bit of foam there, I'm fine with it because when you're looking at it straight on, it's absolutely gorgeous. But if you don't, you can still go back, take some of your flowers and you can just stick them right on top. And then it's going to even just create more for you. It's going to kind of like stick into them like you would in foam if you were trying to build a foam of fake flowers to be able to do that. All right, so then for here, you can do two things. You can make it stick up a little bit if you want by putting some foam in there, but I personally like it so it's flat. I'm going to go ahead and adhere that down. And the reason I like it flat is because I really want all the attention to come to the beautiful flowers. I want the beautiful flowers to be raised and for that to be what's noticed and not so much the window box. And then again, as well, I want my saying or my sentiment. So this again is why I did not put my sentiment on already. I wanted to make sure I knew how high to do it so my flowers would go on first. And so I'm just going to go ahead now, get my adhesive out, adhere this down. Oh, there's that one little leaf set, but that's okay. It's sticking to something. So when I put it back, it will go right where I wanted it. And there you go, just like that. And then now inside, what we can do is you should have some white pieces that are inside frames. Same thing with these. I went ahead and I did cut them a little bit larger for you so that if you did have the textured notes or have perennial postage or have any kind of card front dies, you could use those and be able to get that design. So I don't know if you can really see them here. There you go. You can kind of see just the pretty design, but I really like to make that, especially on the inside too, where it tends to be a little bit more blank or empty. I like just to have that. So again, they're ready for you to be able to cut down with your dies. If you don't have any dies, then you'll probably want to just trim them down to 4 by 5 1/4 so that you can still get that black detail around it in your card. So I'm just going to do that and put it right here centered. And then as another little design, I'm going to take one of my washi tape flowers, my roses, and I'm just going to stick it inside. Just like that. And that's just going to carry the theme of my my card from the front also into the inside. And then you also have in your kit some of the 25 to 27 dots. And so we're going to use those real quick. And so the strawberry slush is the pink that we have here. So we're just going to take a couple of those. And I'm going to put one here. And I like to just go kind of in, I say stair step order, but something like that. And then I'm going to put the other one right up top so that it's in the happy birthday. Just like that. And so there you go. I hope you like that card. I think it's beautiful. I love the different designs that this gives. And it, I went a little bit slower to kind of teach you all the things, but really, truly, these can come together super, super quickly, especially because you've already got all of your pieces here cut out. So there's card number 1. All right. Now what we're going to do, and we've got another card just like it. So let's go ahead and do that one. But this time we're just using a piece of our DSP. So go ahead and pull out your DSP, and you want the one that kind of looks like wood slats in the background. And you're also going to pull out your, you should have some cardstock in your kit. Mossy Meadow, I believe, is the one that is. Old Olive, I take that back. And then again, you're going to go ahead and take out your square and your ribbon. Okay, and so we're going to go through these, and we're just going to find the pieces. You can change out however you want, but if you're trying to do it kind of like I did, you would look for this. And also remember, there's always a backside. So feel free to change it up, make it the way you like it by using those. All right, so we've got that one done. So same thing. We're going to go ahead, and I'm going to take, just so I don't have it taking up so much room here, I'm going to go ahead and take this, put it in here, do it at 4 1/4 is where we want it to score. Again, make sure you're using your scoring blade. There's another demonstrator who says part the dark, and that kind of sticks out in my mind. So if that helps you as well to park the dark, what she's doing there is she is just making sure the dark is down, and she's using the lighter one. Just going to take this here. Like I said earlier, I went ahead and I die cut out my frame. So you can do the same thing there. And you know what? I did it, but it was not straight. Let me try that again. All right, line it up. Push it out. All right, just like that. All right. Just wanting to make sure how it looked. Okay. So this one's already cut. Again, if you don't have yours, go ahead and just cut it down to a 4 by 5 1/4. We're just going to adhere this on. You'll see just how quickly this was going to come together now. So we're just centering that in this spot. I don't know about you, but that's probably the hardest thing for me is getting my centers correct and things not wonky. I think I got it, and then I don't, right? All right, so we're going to go ahead and fold these 2 pieces. Again, we want that raised edge on the outside. You can kind of feel with your fingers which side is the front and which side is the back. That is one of the beauties, I think, of die cuts too, is you can kind of feel the difference. Although this is not like it's got a lighter color or darker color like our other 2-tone cardstock, but so it's not as big of a deal. But it will make it look more finished with the design when you put it down. Okay. Okay, so for simplicity's sake, I'm going to go ahead and just put my adhesive in here and make sure it's nice and stuck down, just like that. I'm going to go ahead and pick up these, put them back in here because I don't need them yet since I'm completely changing my colors. And see how even though they separated these out by like 2 different sections of colors, remember how we talked about you've got kind of like your purples and then you've got your pinks. We're not even really using that section. We're using these little itty bitty pieces. So for the ones that we had. So on the last one, we used this one right here. And for this one, we're actually going to use those sunflowers right there. And they are on both sides as well. So that means you're going to kind of get double the amount of them. All right, so same thing. We're just going to kind of find a good center spot coming up about an inch from the very, very bottom, or 3/4 of an inch from the bottom of the DSP. And we're just centering it in here. Okay. Again, we're just going to go ahead and put our adhesive on the back of this opening. The biggest thing when you're doing this one is that you really want it to be, as I said earlier, you really want it to be like pushed right up to the edge of your folded square. You don't want to see that gap as it gets raised. You don't want to see the color behind it pop through. So that's why I said if it helps to kind of go a little bit on top of it, you can. It's totally up to you, but I'm just pushing it down, making sure that it's trying to actually go behind it. And I don't want it to go behind it, but I do want it to go right up to it. All right, so just like that, okay? So I'm going to give that just a second to adhere on its own, and then I'm going to take out all of these little sunflowers. There you go. And again, I'm going to use some of those leaves that we had earlier, so I'll take some more of those out and kind of add these, and just make it super easy for me to be able to grab them as I need them, lay them out. All right, so when you're done, you're going to go ahead, same thing like we did before. I'm just going to go ahead and put this here. If you want, it wouldn't hurt probably to put the dry adhesive, some tape adhesive there. But I tend to find myself wanting to move things. And so that's why I do it that way. I play with it. And so I can kind of decide where I want it to be. Have that one kind of go straight up and down. Have this one. It's hard for you guys to be able to see what I'm doing. I apologize as I'm laying it out for myself, but I'm just kind of twisting them around. So just kind of like you can see that. Okay. And then I do think I want to have a little bit kind of go over the edge. So let me cut this off a little bit. I mean, I don't know about you, but when I look at a lot of flower boxes, they're not all just stuck there in the center, right? Actually, when I look at most of my flower boxes, unfortunately, they're probably dead, but not if they're fake like these. All right. I have never had a great green thumb, but the Lord has given me a gorgeous window that gets a lot of light here. And so I've had the best success with my flowers there. But you can only put so many flowers in one area. It kind of feels like it's becoming the Amazon, but I don't mind because it's beautiful. All right, so there you go. Okay. So same thing. I'm going to take my adhesive strip, just a really thin piece of the foam, and I'm just going to lay it down on top of them. This is going to keep them where I want them to be, making sure that they can't be seen from the front, right? And then I'm just going to take off the backing and then lay in some more. And this time I'll have on this side kind of go over a little bit more. Me don't want it to look too much the same. Actually, what I may do there is take one of my leaves and have my leaf gum there. So it's not like they're exactly the same where they were. You don't want them to look like they're mirroring each other. You want them to kind of have a little bit of a gap. Open this up. Oop, there we go. Stick that in. Stick this one in. I'm just at this point trying to do a little bit higher and fill those gaps like we did on the last one. I'm going to take, I've got a bigger piece here. Okay, I've got this piece. I'm going to put this right here behind it and then kind of do this there. So what you're getting is some of the leaves. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but I've got some of the leaves right there. And then just a couple more in here. All right, same thing, just filling that area just like that. Now I'm going to take my tape adhesive, put it all along the inside, and then we can finish this section up. And feel free, I mean, these are all your cards. You can do them however you'd like. If you'd like to do some different pieces, have some other flowers in there, you absolutely can. I just chose these because I think it goes really, really well with the color of green in the background. It makes the yellow pop and it just brings some softness to it, I think. So I'm just first putting in these flowers, and then I'm going to go back and put in some more leaves. Maybe even put them behind. I want my flowers obviously to be front and center, to be what you see. And I've got one more in here, so let me grab that. Okay, and then we're just gonna, this one needs to be a little higher because it's getting lost. No point to have it in there if it's gonna get lost, right? Just like that. Okay, now I'm just pressing it down, holding it in place, making sure everything is nice and stuck in there. Always hold, hold it upside down, see if anything's going to fall out. Otherwise, I think that looks amazing. It's giving it a nice big um, full bouquet, if you want to say. So something like that. I will take another couple and just kind of stick them in here if I can. I'm going to cut this off at the base and stick that in. Again, just make it yours. All right, so going to go back to our stamp set. I've got another one. This time I'm going to do, let's see, where is my stamp set? I want to do, let's do, I really liked the happy birthday, but maybe we'll just do the thank you. Again, just so we can kind of see a little bit more of this one as well. So I'm going to, again, rub it on my hand to get off some of the newness of it. That plastic sheen that it gets when it's fresh and new. And we're just going to say again, thank you. Such a nice, thin, detailed line. I love it. I love when you can get like a crisp image and it's nice and detailed like that. All right. And then same thing, we're just going to go ahead and put these on. I'm very blessed to have to send a lot of thank you notes. So something else you can do here too, and I kind of feel like it needs it on this one, is if you have, well, see, I had another one trying to come out just like on the last card. When I put this in here, see how plain this white is? So it didn't look so as plain on this one because you could see all the different design there. And the design that we have here is going to get lost in the flowers. So another option that you could do is you could take a black line and put it around here so it pops out, or you could take some of your ink and do the same thing kind of like what we did on the other paper and kind of rub it off on the edges. But instead, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and take a journaling pen. I'm going to go and just very simply draw a line around it. Help make it pop, and you can see the edging. So if you ever feel like it needs something, it's kind of getting lost, keep it real simple. Either just add ink to the, that one needs a little bit more, I think. Add inks to the edges with a blending brush. But because this is so black and white with just a little pop of color, I felt like just adding a simple line would give it just the pop it needs. So there we go. And see the difference that that made? It just made it stick out that much more. Okay. So then we're going to go back and grab our bling, our dots. And you can do whichever ones that you wanted, but because I did the yellow here, I went ahead and got Darling Duckling, I believe it is. And I'm just going to do the same thing as what we did on the last one. Kind of this. I like doing the largest and then the smallest. And then I can have the medium size. If there's 3 sizes, I can kind of have that one going around it. And I think I'm just going to have it kind of go off here. I could have it go up there, but I think it would look good here. And you can add some more at the top too, like I did on this first one, however you'd like. All right, so now same thing. We want to finish our card by doing the center. So take one of your white pieces in the center. Again, either have it cut down with your die, or you might want to trim it down just a little bit. And again, I usually have them cut down to the exact same size for you, but I wanted you to have the ability to put that framing on it should you choose. All right, and then I'm just going to go back into here and see if I can't pull out a couple of our leaves just like that. Okay. I used up all of the sunflowers, but if I pull in the leaves, since the leaves are also on the front, it's not going to hurt it at all. And I like that. It's going to definitely continue to go on its own. All right. So there you go, card number 2. All right, so we're going to put those 2 to the side. Very good. All right. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to pull in our card base of a black card base. Just like this, we're going to create this card. And actually, we're going to do the same technique for this card. So if you would like, go ahead and bring both in. And we can do them both at the same time. I like to kind of save myself a little bit of time when I'm doing things that are very, very similar. I can do them both at the same and it works out really, really well. So the first thing we're going to do, as you can see, is this one is a side fold. So same thing like we did before. We're just going to go ahead and fold it. You can get your trimmer out and do your fold like we did earlier. But as you saw, it didn't. So it worked just as well for me to do it this way. And it did that. Okay. And then this one we're going to do, it's the same fold, but we're just going to do it from top to bottom. So we're going to have one on its side and one a top to bottom fold. So just like that. All right. Now, so here's my card bases. I've got them both set up just like that. Then what you're going to want to do is you're going to go ahead and pull out your card base or your card fronts. So here's the card pieces that we had to choose from. So I've got one that's there. This one, again, if you want to change them, you can, but some of them are like this one is really, really dark. And we really kind of want the colors to pop out, but to not be just on dark paper. So I thought that these worked really well. I've already got them cut with the textured notes. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere these on. Just like that. Same thing here on this one. Now this is where you're going to need those stylish shapes. Or if you have another shape, circle shape, you could even use like those balloons because you're not going to really see the outline of it on this one. But what you're going to do is you're just going to take a circle shape, and I use the largest one out of the stylish shapes. Okay. And what we're going to do is we are going to take a little bit of washi tape. And you want to use washi tape because it does have that light stick. You can use washi tape, you could use a sticky note, something like that. But we want to bring this in so that you're getting most of your circle on there and you've got maybe a half of an inch off. And we're just going to washi tape it on right there. Okay. And then we want to make sure it's centered, which I think mine, it was a little off center. So let me center that again. So top to bottom, I want to make sure I have about an inch there. Okay. And then we're going to put this through our die cutting machine. The washi tape obviously is holding it in place, and that's what we want. Want to make sure it's not going to move. Okay. And then I'm going to do that again with this other, and then we're just going to pull this off. Very carefully. And then you can see how it's kind of got that circle in the center. We're going to do the same thing on this one. We've got to open it up to do it because we want to make sure it does not cut through on the other end, right? Pop this piece out. Okay. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing, just making sure that it is. Let me get this on here so you can see it better. Wanting to make sure it's centered there. I'm going to turn it a little bit to make sure my washi is not in flat dab in the middle in case it does rip my paper just a little bit. I'm going to put flowers over it, so I'm not worried, but still, it's good to use a little bit of caution. Okay, put that right back on there and cut this one out. I love how quickly these ones come together, but the design is just so pretty. It may not seem quickly, but once you start working on it, you will definitely see that it is. All right, just like that. Now, before we go ahead and move forward, let me get rid of these pieces. I don't want to lose my die. We're going to go ahead and take our bases and again, put them in the center inside because we're going to stamp and put our sentiment there in a minute. And so we want to make sure that we have those. So I've got two, one for each card. I hate to keep saying it, but if you haven't already cut them down, go ahead and cut them down so that they fit well within here, whether it be with a die cut or your trimmer. Okay, you can see that. And then we're going to do the same thing with this one. Now, if I was at a all-day crop or something and wanted to put these together, the easiest thing to do truly is to use these ephemera pieces because you just have to glue them on. And then I wouldn't be worrying so much about having my inks and that kind of thing block and what stamps that I'm going to use and all of that. But I do love being able to change them up for what I want to use them for. So that's just a thought. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to simply take our adhesive and just go around the edging of our card. We want to make sure we don't go too far off the edging, but that's going to give all of our flowers a place to hold on to. Go ahead and do it on this one too. Just got to be careful I don't set anything on it, which I have a tendency to do. We all know this. All right, just like that. All right, now let me put this kind of to the side. And then on this one, you can see, I've got it, so it's going to go like this. On this one, you can see I'm using a little bit more of the purples, which are really pretty, and it's got the blues in there too. So I've got these leaves, and I'm also using, they've got two colors in there. If you notice, it's got the bigger and the smaller. So I'm just looking for what I did with those. Here we go. Here's some of that. That matches it. Looking. Oh, I got it. They were in this one here. I just put the pinks with them too. But they're the same size. So I'm just pulling out the purples, and I've got my pinks that I'm going to use over here. So I might as well just put those with it, right? All right, let me put these florals back. I can use those later. And then I'm going to keep these out. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I'm just going to kind of lay these out where I think I want them to go. I'm not pushing down. I don't want them to stick on my paper yet, but I'm just kind of laying them out, just kind of letting them kind of roll around this circle. Because they already have that natural swag to it or swish to it, it's going to be easy to do that. And I think it will fill it nicely if I try and do 4 of the flowers and then backfill the rest with the leaves. Okay, so you see that? So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my leaves and I'm going to put them in where they're in between and make sure that nothing kind of goes, I don't want them going inside that circle, but I want them on the circle. So I don't want you seeing it kind of overlapping. But I also don't want to see the actual circle itself. Yep, I'm being picky. But I want to fill that so you're not seeing the edge of the circle. So I've got that there. I'm going to put this one in here like this. And then this one in here like this. Just like that. Okay. And you can lay them out a little bit more if you want, however you want there. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to take some 3D foam squares. Let me see. I want to use the big ones. I liked the big ones the best for this because they just fill it really easily. Although I got some small ones here too. All right. And I'm just going to pop that up and then put these in here. And I'm just going to use a couple of these. Let's see my tweezers. Maybe here. Yep, I like to use lots of adhesive. If you don't know that about me, you're going to learn that really, really quickly. Okay, so putting this here, and I want this to be what holds it, everything kind of in place. So again, that's another reason why I use so much. I want it to hold up in the mail as I mail it to somebody, but I also want to be able to let everything kind of tuck up underneath it. So I'm putting it right up to the edge, kind of on top of the black to make sure that it goes all the way to the edge, that I'm taking this in here now and kind of filling that gap. And then this next one is going to come right up to that first one. So here's that, do the same thing. Okay. I feel like it needs that one more right there at the edge. All right. So this one's going to come right up to there. And then I'm going to turn it so that the flowers are going into the center, but I don't want my leaves to do that. My leaves are going to just fill that area behind it. Okay, just like that. Then pick this one up. Same thing. All right. Now we're going to overlap that a little bit, pressing it in. Again, see how I have it going into my opening, but not, I don't want it to stick to the side, the inside. So I need to pull these back just a little bit. I'm glad I did that. That reminded me of it. I want my flowers to be seen, but I don't want it to stick to the inside of my card, right? That would not be good for the person receiving it. They could never even open it. So let me look. I might have to see if I can't move that one. Sometimes they move great and sometimes they don't. So just be careful how close you put that to the edge. You just want the flat white. So I'm going to have to go back and move some of these, I think. There you go. This one I can just push in just like that. And then I've got that going there. I'm glad I went and checked that now, huh? before we got it all completely done, because I can still move these enough. Okay, just like that. These, same thing. I'm just going to pull them and move them back. I just don't want it, like I want it to be stuck to the paper. I just don't want it to be shown from the edge. And since I have it overlapping this one here, that's going to help hold that flower up. Okay. Make sure when I open it, I don't see it. I don't. I do on this one though. That might be a good place for a smaller one. Sorry, guys. All right, so I'm going to put the smaller ones in closer to the inside edge, not the outside edge. So I just don't want it to be shown on either side, but I do want it to have that raised look. Again, let's check it. Yep, that looks much better, doesn't it? Put this in, and then we're going to do the same for that one. So here we go. We're going to do one towards the inside edges. And then I'm going to take the smaller ones. Oh, how I want my tweezers. Okay. And put smaller ones towards that edge too, but not all the way to the very inside. That way I can cover my border of my paper, but it can still overlap and not be seen from the back. All right. There we go, just like that. Let's check it. This one needs to come in just a little bit. So I don't press it down until I know for sure what I want. Check it again. No, none there. And I think it's good. I've got 3 of those. That pops it and fills it up well. And then I've got an area here to have my saying. Now you can see this one, I had it go in a little bit further. My circle go in a little bit further, so I had a little bit more space. This one, I had it come out a little bit. So either one is fine. Just know it's going to determine like what you, or how much room you have for your saying. So that is the difference on that one. So let's go ahead and do this one real quick. Go ahead and put these together. So now that we've done it, we kind of know what we're looking for. I'm going to bring my card in here. We already put our adhesive around the edge. Now on this one, if you notice, I put 4 of the flowers, but I have 2 on the sides that are flat to the paper and then 2 that are raised. So you can choose to do it like that if you want. And this one I have going off the edge, so you can see I cut it just like that. You can choose again to do it however you want, but it kind of helps it give it that natural feeling like it's going all the way and you're not cutting it short. So then I'm going to bring this one in and same thing like we did before. I want to make sure I've got it to the edging just like that. Bring in some of these smaller pieces. I don't want them to be shown from the inside. And then I can lay it just like that. I think that'll work well. Okay. And it's just barely touching the other one, making this little swag and wreath. Let's check. Nope, can't see any foam, maybe just a little bit there. Let's see if I can push that back in. Yeah, there we go. Then this one's going to go straight down. Again, I already have my adhesive on there from earlier. So I don't have to worry about that one. It's just an easy press. And then lastly, we'll do this. Okay. This one just goes right to that very edge, which I love. Same thing, I'm not seeing any of the adhesive. the foam tape there, and I've got it. And now I'm just going to have to take my scissors to the edge here, or else it won't fit in the envelope, right? So just like that. And we're good to go. I think it can use another, yep, can use another piece of foam right there. It's not going to be shown, but it's going to keep it stuck down. Let's check it. Yep, still not shown, but it's going to keep it so that it's raised and then held down. So there you go. So we've got both of those that we wanted here. I'm going to put this back, and then we're going to go ahead and do our sentiments on there. Just let me clean this up here. Go ahead and take this. So I've got thank you on here, and I have a lot of thank you cards that I usually need. And there's two things that I can do. If you notice here, what I did was I took just what was left on my blending brush, and I just very gently went over the center. And that's just putting a little bit of pink on there. If you open it, you can see it even better. But it puts just a little bit of pink on there so that when I come in with my black, it's going to make it pop, but not look so plain and stark against the white. So thank you. And I'm just going to make sure I can fit it in here. It's exactly how I want it. And you want to do this after you do your flowers, because you'll know how far in your flowers are going to go. So where you need to place it. Okay, so there's thank you. And then same thing. Whoops, you know what? I switched it on us. There's my thank you. I did it up in there. Now I can do this one. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to just turn them around. That's the beauty of it. There was no exact, it had to be this way. There we go. I like being able to kind of change it so that they're not, I don't make all my cards going in one direction. I like to have some of them. So if somebody wants to display it, they can easily put it on a desk or on a mantle, and it's either way, you're getting kind of a different look, different display. Okay, let's bring in our pieces again. I'm going to put up some more of this because it's having a hard time grasping it. The little putty, you just got to twist it a little bit, and really just a very little bit, and then it starts coming. It just comes slower than we expect it to sometimes. And I'm going to go directly to the cloud cover on this one. And so cloud cover. Oh, come on. Never had dots run from me before, but I think that's absolutely what those were just doing. And then I'll just do it over here. And because I did it like that, now I don't have to do anything inside, right? So then we've got this, and we're going to go back to, I love it when I can, I'm going to say double duty it, but that's not really what I'm meaning by it. I don't mean that in an ugly way, but you know what you're seeing on the outside is on the inside, and you don't have to think about an inside sentiment if you don't want it to. You've got some little room to kind of play. And then the other thing too, don't forget that you can put embellishments, your dots and stuff, in with your flowers. It's going to kind of make them pop a little bit more too. All right, so there you go on that. There you go. All right, these last two are very similar as well. We've almost made it. So here are our last two cards. These ones are top folding, and they have a little window in here. And notice what I did for my window. Because I wanted these to overlap so much into my window, I put some flowers inside as well. So you didn't just get this big, bold white space there. So I did kind of change those as well. So for these, we're going to do kind of the same idea or design that we had before. So go ahead and grab your paper. Let's see. From your kit, I'm trying to make sure that I had enough of what I wanted. These were already pre-cut for you, and they were already folded down because they were so tall. I folded them down for you. There you go. And if you didn't notice, and I apologize, I didn't say this at first, but I did give you a sheet of white cardstock that you could use for your sentiments if you chose to cut them out instead of, and kind of do like I did instead of using your ephemera. So you'd have a little bit of a playroom, I guess you could say. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're just going to go ahead and we're going to take our card pieces, our card fronts, and we're going to go ahead and lay those on first. Let me grab my additional pieces. And so you can use whatever side you want, do whatever you want with these. I think I'm going to do mine like this. And I know you're sick and tired of hearing it, but if you need to, you may need to cut them down a little bit if you're not using a card front frame or the textured notes dies. And we're just going to put these here in the center. Okay. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take the largest. I've got to think about this for a second. You know what? I'm sorry. Take that off. I'm so sorry. Take it off, if at all possible. What you want to do is we want to put this part on first. That way we can create our window box like we have here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to center this just like this and put this on my block or on my mat so that I can die cut it out. And I want to have it about 3/4 from the very top of this piece right here. And centered from side to side. It may help you when you go to put it on the mat to die cut it, having that sticky on there because that part's not going to move, right? But I don't want my die to move either. So I'm going to get a little bit more washi tape. And you're going to do this with both pieces. If we hadn't put on adhesive on both, you could just lay them side by side on top of one another, or not side by side, but on top of one another and cut them both out at once. I like to do that as well. But I did have you do that and I apologize. That's what happens when you create the workshop and get it all together and then create it online with y'all about a month after you originally created it. All right. So this one we're going to go back and forth a little bit on, but you'll be able to see what I did here. Be real careful when you're taking it off because it may stick to your mat like it is mine. All right. Because it's got the sticky, I'm going to go ahead and put this on my base. Now I can do 2 cuts at one time if you can fit it on your plate. Actually, I did a bigger one on this one. I think I did not realize I did it, but I did. And I'm okay with that. You can use the smaller or the bigger. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the next one down and I'm going to put it center here so that it will cut out the base of what I'm trying to do. Okay. And then I'm going to take this off and cut my frame as well, like we did on that last one. So let me line this up. Because this one is a little bit bigger of a frame, I am going to move it up, but you could use this smaller one as well. Okay. And then I'm going to center this one inside here. And the nice thing about these stylus shapes as well, let me get one and show you. Here's the circle. You can see there's 2 areas that it's going to give those little notches. And so you're going to get it on the outside and on the inside. And I'll show you what I mean by that in just a second. All right, but I'm going to go ahead and run both of these through at the same time. To save myself a step. And make sure when you run this one through that you open it, okay? Again, you don't want it to cut through that backing, so you want to make sure that it's open. All right, now when I go to take this one out, just make sure it cut. It doesn't feel like it cut all the way around, so let me put it again. It could just be, again, my flat mat. Here, I've got this. I'm pulling this one off. So you can see, to take this one off, you can see the little dotted line right here. See if you can see that. And on the piece that it cut out, there's also a dotted line. So if I wanted to use this again, it's already got, and use it for like another card or something, it's already got a really pretty embellishment around the edges. So let me go back and run this one through again real quickly. Hopefully it will cut through. I think it is time for me to have some new plates. I'm also going to tighten it up just a little bit. All right. And if your washi tape starts to tear it just a little bit, I hope not, but if it does, and you can see mine did because I had it on there for a little while, that is a great place for a flower embellishment. Notice how I had some over here? How fun is that, right? So you can definitely use that to your advantage, but you can see there you've got your little dots, and then there you've got your dots as well. All right, so we've got those. Now let me go and do this one. So we're going to put the base back on here. We want to do this part first so that I know how to center that other square. I'm going to take the smaller square and center it in inside. And again, let me move this so I've got more of the washi on the center than I do on the outside. That will help it prevent from sticking. Make sure that's nice and centered, and then put it through. So I apologize. This is one of those that we have to kind of do a lot of die cutting for, but I feel like the end result is worth it. I hope you guys agree. All right, if I don't have new plates by the time we get back together, I'm in trouble. Because these are not giving it the firmness it needs. All right, there we go. That was better. So again, and when you go to take it off, always take it off at an angle rather than straight up. The washi tape is less likely to tear your paper if you do it that way. Okay, so I'm going to just put these back in here. I even keep the washi tape sometimes on my dies just so that it's easy for me to reuse it. It's ready to go the next time I want it. All right, so here we go. So now I've got my frames ready. So we're going to take the inside portion and we're going to go ahead and put that down so that we know exactly what it's going to look like and where to put our placement of our sentiments and all of that. Just like that. And this one. Okay. So here you go. Got those. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to create little bouquets on the outside, and then we can go to the inside. So if I'm going to do this first one, we're going to do it with, we're bringing in our purples. And I'm going to use some of the smaller purples and some of the blue swag in the background. These are gorgeous. They're just nice and very filling. So when you're doing something that's kind of tall, it's a great way to kind of fill that space. And what I did was I kind of had them overlap so that it didn't go way, way down. Okay, if that makes sense. So in order, and what I normally do is I just put adhesive down so that I can build it from here. I just fill that in. It's much easier than having to do each individual piece, but it gives me a place to kind of hold it to. So kind of got this. I'm putting this all flat down. I'm going to tuck this up underneath. Just like that. Now this is also where I can bring in some of these smaller pieces that I have in my lid, right? And what was nice about this one too, you can't see it here, but what I did was I put one, I really wanted the leaves, but I didn't want to waste the flower. So I put one so it's going like this. And then I put the other one so that it went directly on top of it. It covered up the first flower, but I have it where it's a 3D, like a pop. And so you're getting all the dimension and you're not losing anything, but it helps you line it up exactly like you want it. So I'm just going to put this down like that, making sure not to go over the edge of my card so it will still fit in my envelope. Then I'm going to take my foam pieces. And these I don't have to worry about if they're being shown from the other side or not, because I'm going off of the edge. And again, I like to have a little bit of raised edged there. I can pull it in, I can have it go however I want in whatever direction. I'm just covering up the flower on that bottom. Okay. Then I'm going to take some of these smaller pieces, and you can use whatever adhesive you want because they're smaller. It's easier for me to use my liquid and kind of fill in whatever I want. And you can do the large or the small flowers. Again, whatever you want. The more I can add to it, the fuller I can make it, the better I feel like it is. So this is a smaller design. If I wanted to, I could have, let me see. I've got this little one here that I can kind of actually probably pull this one off still. We know I'm going to need something over here. So let me just put that there. That kind of covers that up. And then what I can do here is just tuck this up underneath, and I'm getting more of the same colors, and I'm just getting more fill. And that's going to stick down because of the liquid adhesive. So I do like that. Now what I want to do is I want to open it up and do some here on that back side. So same type thing. I'm just going to pull in what I've got. I've got this piece here, again, just matching that I'm using the same colors. Let me open it up and see what it looks like on this one. Okay. Yep, I was thinking the same. Before I adhere it down, I just want to make sure I'm going to get some of the colors popping through. And because I've got my flower here a little bit lower, I want to make sure that these flowers are just a little bit lower. And these, I don't want to do anything popped up here on this side because, make sure it's like that, because I want my card to close well. I don't want to have extra pop inside and outside. Then my card may not close. It's going to take extra when I go to mail it, anything like that. All right. And then as you can see on this original, I took just a couple of the little flowers and just kind of put them around. Kind of like we did with the dots. Make sure I've only got one there. Sometimes they feel like they stick together a little bit, and it's just the thickness of them. There we go. Kind of put that up underneath. You're good to go for there. And now I just want to put like a little grouping there, kind of like I have here. So again, just pulling in the smaller one of it. I'm just going to bring in some adhesive. And I'm putting it directly on here. That way I don't have to worry about whether or not it's going to be shown on the other side, because I know it's going directly on the back of what was on the front side. And how many cards do you see where they really decorate up that inside area? I might even take, especially the top of the card. It's just another little touch that I think people will notice, that you kind of went the extra mile, and yet it didn't take anything at all because you already had them cut. You're just using them all at once, right? All right, so let's go ahead and do the second one, and then we will put our sentiments and our embellishments on there. Okay, so again, same thing. I'm just taking my adhesive, kind of putting it here so I give myself something to hold on to as I put it down. These are, we're using the lighter colors, so not the blues and the purples, but the pinks and the greens. So same thing. Let's see. My pinks. And of all the ones that we've done today, look how much I still have left. And you should have about the same as well, because I made sure that I gave you guys plenty so that you could create as much as you wanted. And I also, I'm going to show you some other cards that are created with the same idea or philosophy so that you can decide if that's something that you want to do. So we're going to, same thing, pull this one in, put it like that. I'm basically following the exact same protocol that I did on the last one. I want to fill the area with the same because I like the way it looked the first time. Why mess with it, right? There we go. Let me see. Bring in some of these small flowers. Sometimes I find it easier just to put my adhesive directly on the paper and then put these into where they are. That's up to you if you want to do it. But to me, it works out a little bit better. It gives me more wiggle room to play with. And I don't have to worry about adhesive being on the backs of each piece and getting those pieces everywhere that I may not want them. All right. And then I don't know that I need those. I think I was just trying to use it. Okay. So then I'm going to open it up and do the same thing inside. I want to make sure that my flower is coming through that hole, just like that. And that's, you can open it up and kind of see I have my big flower, and then I took two of these little sprigs and put them behind it. So the easiest way, in my opinion, to do that, put your adhesive on your big flower and then attach your sprigs to your flower. Get it the way you like it, just like this, and then lay it down like you want it. So I'm going to close it, hold it with my hand, kind of move it around. And then when I find that I like it, I like that, I'm just going to press it down. And now they're all stuck together. So I hope you like that as well. And I can put another one here if I want, or however I wanted to do that, I could. All right, so I've got one of these left. So I can put that here if I want. I also, on this one, I use some of these little pieces, which I have more of. We didn't even use these. And I may do that because I don't have to worry about if that matches anything on this side. There's not a whole lot over there. So why not, right? And I'm going to take, do you do that? I'd love to know, like, do you put your adhesive ever directly on your page, or do you always put it on the back of your embellishments first? And what do I want to do? What do I want to do? I think I'm going to do it right there. You do have to have decided where you want to put it first, but if you put it down and it's liquid adhesive, it's going to leave a little adhesive anyway, right? So there you go. All right, so now we're just going to pull in our stamp set, whatever stamp you want to use. Again, it needs to kind of fit. You're either going to put it here or you're going to put it here, however you want to do it. I did go ahead and cut out. These are from those scallop pieces. I cut out a couple, and I also cut out some of these smaller tags, so I could use either one. So let me see what I've got. I've got I think I like that one. All right. All right. You're a blessing to me. I think fits really, really well into that smaller tag. So let's do that. Okay. And then what do I want to do for the other one? Let's do, can't remember which one I chose when I was creating these, but I do think that thank you one fits well. And there are some good sentiments on this one that work really well for the inside of a card too. I love when I can find sentiments that do both. They're not just for the front, but they'll also work well for the back or for the inside. I do like that. Thank you for being there for me. All right. So bring those in. I'm bringing in the wrong ones, aren't I? Okay, so we've got this. So I think this one's going to look better here because it's bigger and it's going to bring out more of the white, especially because the background is so dark. And I like the scallops too for the floral. And then this one I think is going to work really well. And I'm going to kind of tuck it up right up to the leaves. I think that works well. Actually, this is, I love to use my scraps that I have from other projects, especially for my sentiment pieces. And this one had adhesive paper on the back. So I thought, oh, that's great. I'm just going to go ahead and peel that off. All right, so there we go. So lastly, of course, it just needs a little bit of our bling, our dots. So let's bring those in. Let me pick these up before I accidentally throw them somewhere, right? Because you know me, that is likely to happen. Do that, take care of this. Okay, so again, I've got, very simply, I've got my pink. And I can do these however I want. And however you want. We're just going to put this here, like that one there. And I want to put this other one over inside my flowers. I think how pretty would that be? And then we'll do the same thing here. On this one, I'm trying to decide. I really, really, really love Secret Sea, but I think Secret Sea may be a little too dark for that one, just because this paper is already so dark. So let's go ahead and do cloud cover. I'm going to be sad when those colors potentially go away next year. when we do a color refresh. They're slated to go away anyway because they're supposed to be those ink colors that only last for 2 years. But since they're doing a revamp or a refresh, I'm kind of hoping that these are two colors that they're going to keep around because they work for so many things. Absolutely love that. All right, well, there you go. So these are cards that we did. I hope that you enjoyed the process. I know it took a little bit of time, but I hope that you learned something. You got to play and really and just enjoy your time. I do want to show you one other thing, well, a couple other things real quick that I like to do as well. So let me clean up my area, and I'm going to get out one of the envelopes that I had sent you guys. So you should have your envelopes that you can mail these in. And why should they just get a card that's pretty? Shouldn't they get an envelope that is pretty as well? Right? And so I'm going to take out, here's my envelope. I'm going to move these to the side. I love this set. And at first look, you may not have even thought anything about it addressed to you. But I really like this set because these lines, even though they work really, really well for an address label or something like that, they work really, really well as well for um, journaling lines for your layouts. So you can put something there. It kind of helps keep you, especially if you need a little bit of guidance to make sure that you don't write uphill or downhill like I tend to do. But I love these little swishes and swags, and it comes with like the sentiments, Christmas and birthday, happy team, so that you can use them. And then these little designs that can fit in there. But you don't just have to use those designs. So let me show you what I mean. So the best thing to do whenever you have a stamp like this is to kind of like just let it lay down naturally. Don't try and manipulate it, or else you're going to get just a really weird, it's not going to lay out exactly like we want it to. It's going to be a little awkward looking. And so you just kind of lay it out like you want. Whoops, sorry. I'm knocking all kinds of things down. Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to put it on my block like that. Just pick it up with my block. Move this out of the way and get in my envelope. So now I can do this any way I would like. I can have it go in this direction or in this direction, whichever way I want. I think I'm going to do it this time in this direction. And because our colors have been black all the way through, I'm going to do it like this. So I'm just going to ink it up in the black. Again, just pat, 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 like you're patting a baby's butt. And then I'm going to stick this on. Then what I'm going to do, same thing that we did before. I'm going to take some of my flowers and I'm going to put my flowers on here. Now these, because they're going to go through the mail, I am going to want to use my liquid adhesive and make sure that they're all the way down to the edges. I have liquid adhesive so that they're going to stick on. Okay. And let's see, what else can I do? Got lots of pieces that I can play with, right? I'm just going to decorate it up. And because we have all of these pieces, why not? Why not make it stand out? I don't know about you, but I remember when I was younger, I used to love to get cards from my grandmother in the mail, and they would have like stickers on the back or a sticker on the front. It was just so fun, to kind of have that little design. I loved that. I thought that was so fun and so beautiful. And so to me, this just kind of continues that tradition in a new way. And there you go. So instead of just stamping, and I could color it in, and if I didn't have any of these, I absolutely could still do that. But because I have all of these, I just continue it on, and I thought that looked so good. I really, really enjoyed it. I did the same technique not that long ago with a card that I had shown for Father's Day. And so you can see the same thing here. I had the swish go the other way, and then I took one of our products of the month stamp sets, the little deer, and I just put the deer down there. And so I just thought that was, again, super fun. It could easily be masculine. Obviously, this one's a little bit more feminine, and that worked well together. So, and then lastly, what I did want to show you is just some other cards that I created using some retired product and just playing around. And here are these cards using the same thing, using these Extraordinary Flora pieces and washi tape. And what's cool about these is it just flips open, pops open just like this. But I wanted to show you just what a little bit can do. It can really, really make it pop. And so hopefully this inspired you for some ideas of how to use some cards. And then and hopefully as well, I'll be able to show you some layouts and some things that you can do with your layouts to be able to use this. And you don't even have to cut them out. You can just take your washi tape on a full piece of cardstock like I showed you earlier and use it as a background for your paper. And so for your pictures and that kind of thing, you could do the same thing for a card as well. This just gives you like the maximum output for those pieces. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you again for sticking with me and for, creating and coming online and doing this fun creative life together. I love scrapping with you and I hope that you're enjoying it as well. You all take care and hopefully I will get to see you soon. All right. Good night, everybody.